video, I will share with you why you feel like doing nothing after spiritual awakening and 2 ways in which this may develop depending on how you awakened. The awakening can be drastic, very fast, or it can be gradual. When it comes to very fast awakening, this was the case with Eckhart Tolle, for example, when he woke up and he knew he was somehow different and that the world looked better, but he didn't yet understand what happened to him, and then he had to research. The same, well, a similar thing happened with Ramana Maharishi when he awakened as a child, and then he had to go to a cave and meditate for many years, not even feeding himself. And then gradually he started speaking about his experiences. Eckhart Tolle was also inactive for a few years, sitting on park benches. So this is the case with fast spiritual awakening. When this happens fast, the inactivity can last for years. But the more natural way to awaken that many people experience is the gradual one. The fast awakening is very dramatic. That's why some people think that that's the way to awaken, but it's actually dangerous and it takes a very long time to recover. One of my spiritual support group members awakened in a fast way. He lost this negative structure of the mind, and when I asked him how long it took for him to recover, he said, I'm still recovering. But the gradual way of awakening is much safer and easier. And from my own experience, my awakening happened now 18 years ago. So when I was 21, that's when I could define this awakening start, because I got this thought out of nowhere in my mind when I was walking in England from a business call center work. I finished the work and I was going to a bookshop, and a thought entered my head, a question out of nowhere, and it said, is this all life can offer me? And this just set me on this awakening path. And it was very gradual, but I'm glad it did. And yes, it involved one drastic opening up to other dimensions when I was not ready to. But thankfully, it all turned out well. But apart from that, it was a very gradual awakening. And during the awakening, you learn to be led by the presence in you. You can call it spirit in you, your true self, your higher self, Holy Spirit, depending on where you come from and which doctrine you studied or not studied. But basically, you are learning to be led by the presence, by the real you, and not by the ego. And unlike the ego rest periods of Sunday and Saturday, the presence has its own rest periods, and it could be a year, 2 years, a month, 5 months. Nobody knows. It's very individual. And so, for example, for me, the last resting period just finished now for 5 months. So I was traveling in Asia, then I was led back to my farm in Lithuania, and I was led to just stay on my farm doing pretty much nothing apart from coaching my existing clients for 5 months. I was just staying, I was just being, I was doing mindfulness practices, meditating, but for the most part it's just being. And I had to trust it, but since I was on this awakening journey for a long time, I knew that I can fully trust this presence. So now that rest has finished, and now it follows activity. And you will find that if you allow yourself to fully rest, the activity is it requires so little of your input, and it produces so much result. So again, I will give you an example just from my recent experience. So this period of 5+ months resting on my farm was followed by the presence directing me to create a spiritual support group. And since I was pretty much not doing anything for 5 months, I did create some videos, but apart from that, I did nothing. And I was wondering who would join, like if I would make such a group. But I knew that I should not question the presence because it knows better. So I allowed this to manifest, and people started joining the group. And the next thing that I was supposed to do is to book my flights for the next Asia trip, which I did. But this time, again, the presence directed me to open this trip, to make it into a mindfulness retreat for those wanting to join. And again, I never did this before, yet I needed to trust that presence. I knew I had to, so I did. And yes, I announced that this trip is now open for others to join for a mindfulness retreat. And now 3 people are in and 2 people are thinking of joining. This is how it works. You just have to trust it. And so the answer is that if you awaken fast, the period of inactivity can be long because it's a very harsh awakening and it takes time for the body and for the mind to recover and to rebuild itself. Now, if you awaken gradually, you will get these periods of rest and activity, and they will be very tailored to you. They will be very unique to you. It could be months of rest, months of activity, a month of rest, 3 months of activity, a year of rest, 10 years of activity. It's dependent on you. But the periods of inactivity are definitely shorter for gradual awakening than they are for a drastic, fast awakening. Now, if you have experienced this inactivity, let me know in the comments whether your awakening was fast, drastic, or gradual. And are you learning to trust that presence? Because it's the presence that created worlds. It's the source of all intelligence. It's normal for us to trust the ego, but as we're awakening, we need to learn to trust that presence, and sometimes it directs us to do things that seem very illogical for the ego. Maybe you never did those things before, but it drives you to do it, and you need to trust it. And now here's another important thing to know about this period of inactivity. In order to not extend it, you need to fully surrender to it. Because if you push against it, if you wonder how long it will take, you will prolong it. You need to just absolutely trust that this is what it's supposed to be. And you need to really rest, because if you wait for that period to finish, you would not actually experience that rest, and thus the inactivity will be extended. So use it for what it's there for, which is for your rest. So fully enjoy this rest. Another thing to know is that you will be provided for during this inactivity. Don't be afraid. The universe is there for you. It's expressing now itself through you. The body, the mind needs to readjust themselves for this new driver of your life. And of course, if you are led by the intelligence, it will supply you. So don't worry. Take as much time as is necessary for you to really restructure yourself in this time of inactivity. Enjoy it. Fully be present in it, and know that you will be provided for. And then also know that once your activity starts again, it will be much more efficient. You will do less and you will get more results. And you need to just trust that the presence knows what it's doing. So let me know whether you experienced fast or slow awakening, gradual awakening. And if you are going through this period of inactivity, let me know for how long this has been happening to you.